there is still a chance that the Raiders fire Antonio Pierce this offseason. I know what all the latest reports have said, and coming up here on today's show, we're going to go through the latest reports around AP. But the reason why I still think that the Silver and Black could move on from Antonio Pierce is because of all the other smoke that we heard around MIke Vrabel. I'll get into all of that here in a little bit, and I also know this, that it does kind of look like we're sticking with AP, and it might be unlikely based on the latest around Antonio Pierce that he is the head coach. But we still got to look at all the things that have been out there, and I'm telling you, there's still got to be a little bit of a chance that he gets fired. So you know what? I want to know this question here. I've been asking it on social media. I'm going to ask it here. This is what we do. What do you want the Raiders to do? If you want them to fire Antonio Pierce, I want you to click the like button on this show. If you want the Raiders to keep AP, I want you to comment down below, keep him, or you could spam AP down below. If you didn't tune in yesterday when Chugs and I went live here on the Raiders Report, Antonio Pierce spoke to the media on Black Monday, a day that is notorious for firing NFL head coaches, and multiple coaches yesterday ended up being relieved of their duties. Pierce, though, when he was asked about his job, he was like straight up, like, I haven't been told anything different. Mike Vrabel, he spoke about how real of a likely it is that the Raiders end up firing Antonio Pierce. And even Mike Vrabel from NFL Network said that he believes Antonio Pierce's job is safe. And when you see the report from Vrabel on the inside of the building, it sounds like there's a lot of optimism Antonio Pierce will continue as head coach of the Raiders. Davis has been pleased with the last couple of weeks, understands there's not a lot of talent and there's a lot of youth on the roster. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a statement at some point today indicating that Antonio Pierce is going to continue to be head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders in 2025. So coming up, what happened? I'm going to tell you why I do still think that there is a chance that the Raiders fire Antonio Pierce. And this is not just based on things that I was told a year ago, based on things that I was told the last few months. It's based on all of the reports, and it's based on a lot of things that are circulating right now around a guy like Antonio Pierce and around a guy like MIke Vrabel. So first, let's go to the very first reason here. Whether you like Vincent Bonsignore or whether you don't, I respect Vinny. I think when you look at a lot of the Raiders beat reporters out there, when Vinny says something, legitimately, like, the nation has to listen to his reports. He's been by far the most accurate. He's been by far the person that doesn't sway people in a certain direction. He just reports exactly what he's being told. And yesterday, Vincent Bonsignore said that Antonio Pierce still has to sit down with Mark Davis to discuss his Raiders' future. Vinny also said that AP being allowed to do that press conference yesterday doesn't mean that his job is safe. I'll also say this. I was listening to Adam Schefter. That guy's got some sources. And he also said that Antonio Pierce still has yet to sit down with Mark Davis. So, I know that the Raiders are still deliberating on AP. And as it stands, yes, he is still the head coach. And it is trending in the direction that Antonio Pierce is going to be the head coach. But I don't think that it is 100%. I don't think it's for just win babies. And I'm going to tell you why that there is still a chance that they bring in a guy like MIke Vrabel. If you're looking for Raiders videos, though, every single day, make sure you click that subscribe button. Make sure you got those notifications turned on. I want to try to get to 182,000 subs by the end of the week. We need 213 more people to step up. Join this Raiders family. Don't do it for me. Don't do it for Chugs. Do it for the nation. Do it for Brandon Jasper. Also, we're going to be live 4 p.m. Eastern time later on today. Let's go to another reason why I still think AP could be fired. The no comment. And maybe this is me sometimes watching a little bit of too many of the shows Alex watches, but anytime somebody is on a jury stand and they go, I plead the fifth, that's kind of in my opinion, no comment, where I'm like, all right, yeah, they're guilty. And if I was asked about my job and I didn't know the future of my job, I would say no comment. If I knew that my job was safe, I would say that I'm the Raiders head coach. But the amount of times that he has said no comment, and the amount of times that he said it after the Week 18 loss, I think if you would have asked Antonio Pierce if he was a betting man after that Week 18 game, if he would have been the head coach of the Raiders, I don't know if he would have said yes. I don't know if he would have said no. But the way AP has conducted himself this entire year, when he's been on the stand, when he's confident, dude, he's one of the best interviews in the NFL. It's fun to watch him. When he's got that tail tucked between his legs and he's a little bit unsure, he's a lot of, I don't want to say Josh McDaniels, but there's a lot of things that are being said and not a lot of words are actually coming out of his mouth. The confidence in AP that I saw after that Week 18 game, the confidence that I saw in AP yesterday on that podium, tells me that even he is a little bit unsure if he's got a job or not. And then the final reason, and this is the biggest reason, it is Mike Vrabel. And when you consider the relationship that Mike Vrabel has with Tom Brady, it still needs to be talked about. And I still wonder if Vrabel can be that hire. And when you look at everything that goes into it, Brady's top target is Mike Vrabel. Brady's top target last offseason was Mike Vrabel. If you don't believe me, we had Raiders players reaching out to us last year that they wanted us to keep Antonio Pierce and to talk about it, and we did multiple shows on it. So the fact that I know that Tom Brady wants Vrabel, and when all the reports were that Tom Brady's going to be the one calling the shots, and Mark Davis said that Brady's going to be the one calling the shots, then you look at all the reports out there that indicated that Vrabel was the front runner to be the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. And I still believe that if Vrabel wants the job, it could potentially be his. So coming up here on the show, I'm going to explain the entire Vrabel situation. I explained it a little bit yesterday when we were live, and I explained it a little bit yesterday when we were kind of talking about the news that just came in. But I got to go a little bit more in depth because I really, really encourage people to see what this whole Vrabel situation is. That way you can paint your entire picture. And I'm not saying AP's going to get fired. I'm just simply saying that there is still a chance that it could happen. I'll tell you what that Vrabel situation here is in just a moment. Huge shout out to Game Time. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. I'll tell you this right now, Mark Davis. If you're going to roll with Antonio Pierce as your head coach next year, you better be spending a lot in free agency. You better go out and find a quarterback because you cannot charge the prices that you're charging even if the entire nation uses Game Time, because those ticket prices are going to be a little bit too high. But if you're like, Mitch, I'm a diehard fan, I'm going to go to games, well, then you definitely need to download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. If you're wondering what time is it, it's Game Time. Game Time's got a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff, so you only see incredible deals on great seats, so you don't waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Game Time is focused on bringing people together this year, and I want to be able to bring some people together as well. Funny story, maybe it's not even a funny story, but my mom doesn't watch this show very often, and today's actually her birthday, so happy birthday to my mom out there. But I did. When she was here to visit, she visited during the holiday season. We went out and, we did a bunch of events. We actually ended up going to this, Christmas concert is how I would explain it. And I got those tickets through Game Time. I love being able to use Game Time because I'm always going to have that memory. Game Time creates memories, and they're going to help you save a little bit of money while you do it. Huge shout out to them for sponsoring the Raiders Report. So let's get into this entire Mike Vrabel situation, which everything that I am talking about today is rumors. I'm not going to lie. I'm not sitting up here reporting anything. I am simply just speculating because everything that led up to Monday, there has to be more to this story. And I'm wondering, could Vrabel still go to the Raiders? Because I believe that the Raiders right now are waiting to see if Vrabel takes another job before hiring Antonio Pierce. He is scheduled to interview with the New York Jets. He is scheduled to interview with the Chicago Bears. The Jags have put in an interview request for him. But because he was let go or his contract ran out by the Browns, technically, NFL teams don't have to say, hey, do you want an interview? He can just go interview with them, and I think that's kind of what the Patriots are going to do. But if Vrabel goes elsewhere, the Raiders are going to keep AP. If Vrabel wants the Raiders' job, then I still think that there is a chance that they move on from Antonio Pierce and go out and hire Mike Vrabel. There were multiple reports, from people who cover the Raiders, from people from ESPN, NFL, CBS, I don't care who it was. Very well tapped in people across the National Football League that Mike Vrabel is the front runner for the job. Hondo Carpenter, another very well respected man in this business for Raiders content, said if AP is terminated, he knows exactly who's coming in. ESPN, Adam Schefter, NFL Network, Ian Rappaport, these are guys that don't get stories wrong. And what it reminds me of is we have to look at history and we have to learn from our past mistakes. This whole Antonio Pierce is the guy and all the other rumors around Mike Vrabel just instantly going away, there has to be a reason that it happened. But also you got to learn from history. It kind of reminds me when the Raiders had Josh McDaniels. And I sat up here on this show and I go, there's a lot of turmoil right now in that locker room, and a lot of people want McDaniels out. And of course, every Raiders player is like, on the surface level, it's all good. Everybody that's close to the Raiders, it's all good. What do you expect Antonio Pierce to say when he takes the podium yesterday? Like, oh yeah, it's actually really bad here. He's going to step up to the podium and he's going to go, it's my job. That's what I've been told, and that's the way I'm going to operate. Like, there is a reason why all of these rumors leading up to the day, and everybody's expecting Black Monday to happen, and Antonio Pierce gets fired, and then in the snap of a finger, it's like, oh no, everything's okay. There has to be more to the situation. So to me, this is what I believe happened. I believe that the New England Patriots, they fired Gerard Mayo, and MIke Vrabel went, oh man, that's a job that I like a little bit more than the Las Vegas Raiders. I also think it's because the Raiders won 2 games. I would imagine the people that are happy that the Raiders beat the Jags and the Saints are probably the same people that wanted the silver and black to keep AP anyway. But if you're somebody that was excited about those 2 wins and you wanted a head coach like MIke Vrabel and you wanted to move on from Pierce, I think you're going to see that you kind of shot yourself in the foot a little bit. For Vrabel, he's going to interview for the head coaching job of the New England Patriots. I'll admit, it still has not been said that he's like accepted an interview or the Patriots have reached out to him. But it's going to happen, right? Like, I heard Adam Schefter this morning go, the expectation is the most likely candidate is that MIke Vrabel's the next head coach of the New England Patriots. But the firing of Mayo was quick. And the moment that MIke Vrabel accepted an interview with the New York Jets, the Patriots lose, and then all of a sudden, Mayo is fired. There is a great relationship there with Vrabel, with that organization, and it's a team that he won 3 Super Bowls with New England. That's a fan base that's going to bring him in with open arms. I love Raider Nation, but because Vrabel is a former Patriot, and because of the way the things went with Josh McDaniels, I mean, let's be honest. Patriot fans welcome Vrabel in with open arms. Raider fans might be a little bit hesitant because he's a Patriot, and Vrabel knows that. So when you look at Vrabel's priorities, this is also the reason why the Patriots firing Mayo, big reason here. Also, the quarterback situation, but it's also the Raiders winning 2 games. So the other day, I don't know how many people saw this, but MIke Vrabel talked about his 3 priorities if he were to take a brand new head coaching job. The first thing that Vrabel brought up was ownership, and Vrabel said this: there's got to be clear communication with ownership so that we understand as coaches what the expectations are, so that we can explain to them what's reasonable, what we can do, what we probably can do, and what we're going to try to do or die trying. Call me crazy, but I believe MIke Vrabel has to believe in Robert Kraft and the New England Patriots as an organization more than Mark Davis and the Las Vegas Raiders. Let's look at the other thing that MIke Vrabel has as a priority: collaboration. He wants to be able to have collaboration. And when you look at what he said, it absolutely aligns with that. He goes, I want structure in a place that people see the game the same way I do from an X's and O's standpoint, from a personnel standpoint, with team building. We would hopefully have the alignment, which is critical. I know Vrabel and Brady are close, and I reported a few months ago that whoever that Raiders head coach is going to be has got to be willing to take a back seat to Tom Brady, which is one of the reasons why I don't think that you're going to get another head coach. I really think it's either MIke Vrabel, who would be willing to take a little bit of a back seat to Brady, or Antonio Pierce. But Vrabel, if he goes and coaches the Patriots, he don't got to take a backseat to anybody. He's going to be the dude calling the shots. And why would you not want to be the guy calling the shots? The final thing that Vrabel said in terms of priority is quarterback. And I don't know if there is a team out there in the NFL right now that has a worse quarterback situation than the silver and black. Vrabel said this: and I would like to be able to say that there's a quarterback that you feel like that you can win with, or that there's at least a path to find one that you can win with. Here's the thing. Vrabel wants a good quarterback. Well, he's already got Drake May. Drake May is a damn good QB. If May was coming out in this year's class, he'd be the number 1 pick, and I don't know if it would be all that close. But the fact that the Raiders are picking 6, and the fact that the Raiders have Aiden O'Connell, the fact that the Raiders have Gardner Minshew, yes, they have a lot of salary cap space. Yes, they have draft picks to either go out and sign somebody or to be able to draft somebody. But are you going to give up draft capital? Are you going to spend money in free agency when you could just go to a team that already has a quarterback and they got a higher draft pick than you? Sure, the Raiders have 10 picks, but the Patriots also have 4 in the top 100. The Patriots also have, I want to say, like 8 or 9 picks of their own. They're also set up very, very well. So sometimes we are Raiders fans, right? And in my mind, it's like, I would pick the Raiders over the Patriots every day of the week. But if you were to take a step in Mike Vrabel's shoes and I tell you everything that he told you, and then you put it all on paper and you look at both jobs, I mean, let's be honest. The Patriots job is a much better job for Mike Vrabel than the Raiders job. And I honestly can't quite blame him for probably ending up taking that New England Patriots job. So in conclusion, I still do think that there's a chance that the Raiders move on from Antonio Pierce, but I think the only way that they do it is if Vrabel says no to all those other jobs, including New England, and then he ends up coming to the Raiders. Because I think it's either AP or Mike Vrabel. But if it's AP's job, and if Vrabel doesn't go to New England, and if they end up hiring somebody else, wait for those rumors to get rolling again, because there's going to be a reason why Vrabel doesn't take New England. I think it's either New England or I think it's the Las Vegas Raiders, and for that reason, there is still a chance AP could be fired.